The Detroit Lions heading into Lambeau playing the Green Bay Packers. It's happening tonight. We're going to do a deep dive into that game. Teddy Covers will take it apart in his big game breakdown. Andy Lang has a prop bet for us on it, plus so much more. Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman, my co-host Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. We are starting now. Jimmy Adams, last year's #1 NFL expert at Wager Talk, and currently on a 4-0 run. Jimbo, welcome to the show. Nice to have you, my brother.
Hey, nice to be on. Yeah, off a 4-0 NFL week, and we are in action heavy tonight. So keep the pressure going. We're going to keep cashing tickets, and thanks for having me.
Always,
sure,
brother,
Jimmy.
always.
And we'll talk about some NFL in just a moment. Let's start with a college game you wanted to talk about. Well, don't worry. We got plenty of NFL. We'll talk Jags Falcons. We're going to talk Giants Seahawks. Obviously, tonight's game. We'll talk about the Eagles as well. But let's start with Texas State and Southern Miss. This is a game that's getting a fair bit of betting attention in the mid-major world of college football. Right now, I'm seeing Texas State, about 5.5 over Southern Miss. How do you break this one down on Saturday in college football?
Yeah, so this is a fade of Southern Miss, a complete fade. A team that a lot of people kind of made excuses for because they'd played a tough schedule, at Florida State, okay, versus Tulane. But then they go out and lose to Arkansas State, a team that most people had power rated as the worst team in the country or right down there at the bottom, right down there with the Kent States of the world. And they give up 44 points on 425 yards in the process. I can't downgrade Southern Miss quickly enough right now. They're in the bottom 20 in the power ratings that I use, and Texas State comes in right around the 65 to 70 range. I think this line should be higher than a touchdown, in my opinion. The Eagles just don't play any defense, and Texas State has not had trouble putting points on the board. They overlooked Nevada for a half last week, decided to flip the switch, turn it on, start playing football, still ended up with 574 yards of total offense. I believe they scored 35 points. TJ Finley's been very good, already over 1,000 yards passing with just one interception. But where they really excel is in the ground game, rushing for 212 yards per game. Southern Miss has no chance of slowing them down, and I have serious doubts about their ability to score as well. Give me Texas State minus the points in this one.
So I want to ask you, in this, it feels like in general, we want to buy low, sell high. And it feels like we're selling low on Southern Miss here, isn't it? That's my biggest concern about this. Like Southern Miss stinks. Everyone knows Southern Miss stinks, and now the market's kind of crashed on this team. Is that a concern for you here?
It's not, because I just don't think Southern Miss has been downgraded as much as they should. You know what I mean? We may be, buying low on Texas State, but I'm okay with that at under a touchdown. There's no indication that the Eagles can stop anyone. When Arkansas State puts up 44 on you, that's a big problem. There's no indication that they can score. Texas State moving the football on several teams, and I believe they cover this number. They win by multiple touchdowns come Saturday.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everybody. You're watching Wager Talk Today, and let's do a quick rundown of what we've got going on the show. Jimmy's going to look at the Wembley Stadium game. They always get the best games. It's no fun. Jags and Atlanta Falcons. Then we've got Eric Pauly joining us. He's going to give out a 6-point teaser. 2 teams, 6 points. He's also going to look at the New York Giants and Seattle. We've got Andy Lang. He's got 3 prop bets for us, all in the NFL. 1 for tonight. Teddy's big game breakdown will be on Detroit and Green Bay. And we've got an excellent BS question that is happening in real time for one of our listeners, Just Perfect 6998. So stay with us for that. Jimmy, let's talk Jacksonville, man. Here's a team that had a lot of expectations coming into the season. They really have stunk it up 2 games in a row. The biggest surprise, though, is it's on the offensive side of the ball. This team is just struggling to move the ball, struggling to score touchdowns. And now they face Atlanta in London, England, and it's -3. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, well, let's wake up early Sunday and cash a ticket with the Jags. I'm going to go ahead and call this a home game as they're over there so much. They've developed a pretty strong fan base across the pond. And look, Jacksonville's performance was horrible last week. There's no way I can really defend it against the Texans. But it's interesting that after that terrible outing, there was no change in the look-ahead line, right? Last week's look-ahead line -3. This week comes out -3. Odds makers not giving a lot of respect to Atlanta. And why should they after they put up 6 points in a loss to the Lions? The Falcons averaged 2.8 yards per play. They had 183 total yards. Serious concerns on the offensive line with Desmond Ridder was sacked 7 times. Jacksonville has weaknesses in the secondary. That's where they can be exposed. But the Falcons have shown no indication they'll be able to take advantage of that. Is Desmond Ridder going to pick apart this secondary? I don't think so. Their strategy is going to be to use Bijan Robinson in the ground game. That's a strength for the Jags as they rank 7th in the NFL in opposing rush yards per game. Atlanta comes in 18th in the same category. And Jacksonville remains a top 10 team in passing yards per game, interestingly enough, even with their struggles. They're comfortable making this trip. The Falcons were lucky to beat the Packers. They have a win over a bad Panthers squad. That's it. At 1-2, this could really be a rally the troops type game for Jacksonville, and I think that's exactly what they do here against a bad Falcons group. Give me the Jags minus the points.
So the Jags have had, 2 winning seasons in the last 10 years. One came in 2017, and they immediately collapsed after that. And then last year, they started 2-6 and then got hot and won a playoff game. Are the Jags actually any good? It feels like the markets are convinced that Jacksonville's good and the rest of the division isn't. But it's a franchise with no history of winning. It's a team that hasn't looked like a winning team through the first 3 weeks of the season. And now they're laying points a long way from home in a venue, by the way. I know they go to London every year, but they haven't been winning there. 1-3 straight up the last 4 trips to London. Does any of this stuff concern you for the Jacksonville side on Sunday?
Well, I think you led off there with a fantastic question, Teddy. Are the Jags any good? I mean, their season win total was set at 9.5. There was a lot of love for them coming into the year. And whether they're good or not, I think remains to be seen. But I definitely think they're better than the Falcons. And I think this is a good spot play sitting at 1-2. They have Trevor Lawrence. They certainly have talent offensively. And you would think that they can take advantage of that against Atlanta. I do not think Desmond Ridder is going to be able to do anything through the air. Are the Jags a playoff team? We'll see, but they're good enough to get my money this week. We'll just keep it at that.
Jimmy Adams, outstanding stuff, brother. So what do you got to promote?
We did it last Thursday, and we are doing it again. 5% play going down tonight. 4-0 NFL run. We've hit our last 2 baseball plays. Free play on my page on the diamond. But let's cash that big NFL ticket. Thanks to all you guys. You're finally taking advantage of those all-access passes. That is the way to save money. So appreciate you guys having me. Have a great show.
There we go, Jimmy. Teddy, you're giving me shit, man. Just do it on air. Just give me shit on air. Don't give me shit in Slack. Go ahead.
It's more... so whatever. You did it 3 times in 1 week, and we try to figure out, we'll set the show up where you intro the first guest, and then I intro the first game, dude. And you get all like, but you've done it like 3 times in a week on something we talked about off air multiple times. Get there, buddy. It's okay. It's a show. It's a real show. Try to be focused while you're on air.
Okay,
if you would.
Okay, I'm going to do better, man. I commit to you that I will.
I'm taking the under.
Do better. Well, under 3 times a week, I agree. That's a good bet. It won't happen 3 times a week. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
I was taking under you doing better, not under 3 times a week.
I know you were. I just wasn't buying what you were selling. So I had my root canal went really good yesterday. No complaints. No pain. Rocked and rolled. Played Scrabble last night. Did edibles. Had a fun night. All good. I am not going to be on the show tomorrow, Teddy. I have to fly to New York City for 25 hours. My brother has been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. Did you even know that was a thing? There is
no, and I just realized you sent me something the other day to read, and I never read it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. That's for October 19th. That's the comedy night we're doing. Anyway, my brother has been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. That's a big deal for my family. Very rare anybody you know is inducted to any type of Hall of Fame. So we're flying down to New York for the induction ceremony, dinner, and party, and then I'm coming home. So I will regretfully be missing tomorrow. Steve Merrill will be sitting in for me. Brother, what did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Well, we got to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce because I was trying to think when I remember a last time there was this much hype. A-Rod and J-Lo, maybe? Like 20 years ago. It doesn't happen often that you get this much hype from a celebrity and an athlete getting together. And of course, what has it done? We've seen lots of new eyeballs in the NFL, lots of funny memes, lots of funny tweets from Taylor Swift fans who don't know anything about football. And of course, now the rumors that Swift's going to be at the Chiefs-Jets again on Sunday night. And why wouldn't she be? She's getting millions in free publicity just for showing up. Pretty darn good for her brand, too. So I started thinking about this. Moneymaker coming out of nowhere to win the WSOP. And poker got a huge influx of new players. It was a great time to be alive. It was a great time to be at the tables, the mid-aughts. Could we possibly see a similar effect from Taylor Swift when it comes to sports betting? Unfortunately, probably not. Certainly not in the short term. Maybe a few extra dollars on parlays. But the Taylor Swift fans aren't setting up betting accounts. And for the 5 of them who do, they're certainly not moving numbers. Poker head-to-head. Sports betting's not that way. It's a market. And the Swifties aren't moving this market. So it's interesting to talk about. When it lasts all week, it's a legit story. But taking advantage / making money of it, I couldn't figure out a way to do it until I saw some of the props. And again, these are all entertainment purposes only. But there are global books who are putting up hilarious props on this. When will Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift make their first public kiss? After October 31st, minus 5,000. On or before October 31st, plus 300. Or sorry, minus 500 plus 300. Will Taylor Swift say Travis /Chiefs /football in a song on her next album? No, minus 700, God. Yes, plus 400. Stuff like that. What celebrity couple nickname will the Daily Mail use to describe Swift Kelce? Swelsey, Tay Trey, Trift, Tace, Travis,
Trift,
Swiftus.
Trift.
It's hilarious. So if you want to bet some of these props in faraway places, again, it's not legalized or regulated in the U.S. market, you can do so. But nonetheless, it's interesting. It's fun to talk about. And obviously, new eyeballs on the NFL is the potential for new bettors. New bettors, always a good thing. It does bring some recreational money into the markets. Lawrence?
Yeah, there's a whole TikTok thing going on right now where
there's 100 things.
Yeah, well, the wife of the husband is like, have you heard of this Travis Kelce guy? Nobody's ever heard of him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. One of our listeners made a very astute point. Who wrote it? I can't. Jeffrey Robinson. Jeffrey, I haven't seen your name. Thank you for joining us, man. Really appreciate it. Prez needs to not wear yellow. It's not his color. It's mustard, and you're right. It's not my color. It looks like shit, and I will never wear this shirt again. I didn't realize. Teddy. I got to admit, I thought it was going to be okay. Anyway, everyone's asking me who the hell my brother is. My brother owns a company that started Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol's the second largest media brand in the world. The movie comes out tomorrow, by the way. So if you guys have young kids, take them to that Paw Patrol movie tomorrow. My brother also owns Rubik's Cube. Didn't start it, but bought it about 2 years ago. Hatchimals, Air Hogs, Kinetic Sand, Bakugan, and on and on and on. It's a publicly listed company under the TOY, on the Toronto Stock Exchange. So that is why he has been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. Teddy, let's bring Eric Pauly in. Eric, how are you, my friend? What's going on?
For longer so we could get a steak or an Italian dinner or something, because I'm over in New York City. Sad I'm not going to be able to see you.
You know, and I was trying to figure out how long to go for. And honestly, Eric, this is going to sound sad and pathetic, but my life revolves around NFL Sunday. And I just didn't want to be in New York. I wanted to be home watching my football. So, but I'll get down there again. And I would love to have a steak with you. The great thing for you, Eric, is I'd be the one paying. So I could understand you wanting to go for a steak dinner with me. Total respect. Okay, brother, you got a 6-point teaser for us. Tell us about it.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of ways people are going to want to attack this football game tonight, anywhere from taking the Packers outright, Lions outright, total, player props, of course. I think that this is just a perfect mold for an advantage teaser. Like the Packers at plus 8.5 fit the advantage teaser criteria. The total's mid-range. You'd like a little bit of a lower total for that, but all things considered, with the Green Bay Packers, now I don't love how their injury report has transpired over this week. They're going to be missing 2 key linemen, while the Lions are getting healthier on that side of the ball. But I just don't think that the discrepancy between these two teams in a teaser, getting 8.5 points, the Lions are not 8.5 points better than the Green Bay Packers. Of course, you now have the key numbers of 3, 6, 7, and 8 covered. The Packers are leg 1 of a teaser. I looked toward the second leg being the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we saw they're on the short week. I saw those flu concerns and whatnot. But the Washington Commanders have struggled with mobile quarterbacks throughout this Jack Del Rio era of their defense. They got absolutely shredded by Buffalo Bills' Josh Allen in that same capacity last week. And the offensive line for the Commanders is so bad. We saw Sam Howell take a bunch of sacks. A lot of them were his fault, as a matter of fact, as he was not going through his progressions, allowing that defense to get to him and not throwing the football away. Well, it's just a mismatch for the Commanders' offensive line against the Eagles' defensive line. Again, getting a Packers a home dog in a primetime game, Thursday Night Football at over 7.5 or 8.5 points now, because that number has moved. I just think that the Packers actually make one of the best teaser legs of the week, and the Eagles are my second favorite teaser leg. 2% play from the gold sheet, giving it out now. I think that that's a prime combination for this weekend, is teasing these two teams.
So it certainly makes sense from a Wong perspective. I want to ask you about the price on these, because that to me stands out with teasers. When I moved to Vegas, you could find books, and this is 25 years ago, but 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, you could find books that had 6-point teasers at even money. Wow. The most had minus 110, but you could find them at even money. Yeah, exactly. Teasers were a sucker bet, before Wong came out. Then it moved to minus 110, minus 120. Now we're seeing books go minus 130 on 6-point teasers. How much juice are you willing to lay on this? What's the max? Because different books have different pricing. What's the max juice you're going to lay on a 6-point teaser right now?
Minus 120. There's never, ever going over minus 120. You have DraftKings, most notably, offering, available in almost every state that's legal, if not every, have the minus 120. Bet Online, a very popular offshore, giving out that minus 120. And you also notice within their spread pricing, too. Like, for example, right now, DraftKings is holding a 2, while everybody else is a 2.5, because they have that teaser at minus 120, so they don't want to expose themselves to the extra half point. So just from a perspective, I've actually read Stanford Wong's Sharp Sports Betting, where he outlined this whole process behind it all and the math behind it as well. In teasers at minus 120 is the absolute max. Does not matter if you're getting that extra half point. If you're paying that 130, it's a no bet. Minus 120, get yourself books that offer them, or don't bet teasers. Then they become a sucker bet.
Eric Pauly, great information. Eric, before we get into the New York Giants Seattle game, you've got a promo code GS30. That's a 30-day all access to your plays for $199. And you are the number one handicapper in football since the start of the 2022 season. So congratulations. Great work, man. Anything else you want to add to that? And then we'll get into the Giants game.
Yeah, I just think now would be a great time to hop in on the GS30 $30 access with the playoffs and baseball coming up next week. We have a 5% play from the Gold Sheet team in college football going off this weekend, and of course a whole month of NFL. So I think actually, if you're going to take advantage of it now, is certainly the time.
Excellent stuff. Eric Pauly, everybody. Guys, 350 are you liking? 350 are you watching live? 59 likes. Come on, we can do better than that. Take 1 second out of your day. Hit that like button for us. It's super important. We put a lot of hard work and effort into these shows. Teddy way more than me. I pretty much wake up and just go. But hey, when you can, why not? So for Teddy and the fact that he needs 6 hours to prepare for this show, please hit that like button. Eric, the New York Giants, Seattle. Talk to me, baby. How do we bet this Monday night game?
Yeah, so before I get into it, just want to mention for not just myself, but any handicapper on WagerTalk or any service, you got to get all access because in football, especially, numbers are moving immediately. When I was writing the Gold Sheet Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern, breaking down the Seahawks-Giants game for Monday night, total sitting at 45.5, and we gave that out to the Gold Sheet clients immediately, and that was something that we backed right away, and now it's sitting 47.5. Still like the over. That's the play that we're looking at. These are just two simple cases of very good offenses against bad defenses. They're going to say, how can you call the Giants good offense? Look what they've done so far this season. Well, you have to take into consideration, especially early in the NFL season, level of competition played. New York Giants play the Dallas Cowboys, who they actually moved the football on a little bit before they had those turnovers and all hell broke loose there. And then they played the San Francisco 49ers again on Thursday. Now they're coming off that long week to play this Monday night game where they obviously couldn't get anything going on offense. But those are two top-tier defenses. And you just had Seattle get absolutely torched by an Andy Dalton-led Panthers team this past weekend. So Giants, again, defensively, they are not one of the better defenses. We've seen it so far. They've played some good teams, and those teams have scored points kind of at will against them. I think that we're in for a shootout on Monday night because Geno Smith and that Seattle offense has been humming. Giants even hasn't done anything. The Giants offense is in a get-right spot, similar to how the Panthers offense was last week. Again, Andy Dalton was slinging the football over the field. If Daniel Jones and co. cannot do something similar to at least put up 20 in this game to make this total, be in play, then, the Giants should probably write off the rest of their season there. But definitely looking at the over in the Seahawks-Giants on Monday night.
So what do you make of all the unders on these national TV games? Monday Night Football so far, 5 games this season? Only one of them has gone over the total. This is a fairly long-term trend. When you look back, and we've seen some data on it, that the TV games, the Thursday, Sunday, Monday night games, over a decade plus have been cashing unders far more than overs. Does that worry you at all that these TV totals are a good notch or two too high, or have been in recent seasons? In part maybe because of the betting attention that's on them, and in part maybe because the offenses haven't clicked on all cylinders. But given the bent of these long-term trends favoring overs on Sunday night / Monday night, is it a concern for you at all? Oh, sorry, favoring unders on Sunday night, Monday night.
It's a great point, and it's something you can't always, not think about. But at the same time, you do have to take every single individual matchup as its own individual matchup. Now, something that we do with the Gold Sheet is we have a tech analysis section where we are breaking down interesting trends from every single matchup. But with that being said, we can have a trend about the Seattle and the Giants, but if one of those games was from 2018 where Geno Smith and Daniel Jones weren't even the quarterbacks at that point, yes, it's a piece of data, but it's not necessarily pertinent for that particular matchup. So I can't ignore it. It's on my radar. I understand why there are reasons for these games to likely trend toward the under. However, just from being a bettor in a betting perspective, based on a matchup and an individual entity that this singular football game is, both all the signs from these offenses and lack of defense for both of these teams are pointing me toward the over in this game. And the market so far, of course, plenty of time for it to go back, has supported this over since that initial release of the open of 45.5.
Awesome stuff, Eric. Wow, man. You come on here and you kick ass, brother. Eric Pauly, everybody, with the Gold Sheet. Make sure to always check out the Gold Sheet. What's going on over at the Gold Sheet this week, Eric? Sorry.
We have a 5% CFB bet, so make sure you tap in there. Nothing over 4% released in the NFL just, but of course, we've been compiling our power ratings. Have MLB plays steadily going throughout the postseason. We actually went 4-0 in baseball yesterday, so don't neglect that. Odds makers are worried about Thursday Night Football. You can find some value in some K or total base props on the diamond.
Beautiful.
And just plugging away with the team every single day.
Outstanding stuff, Eric Pauly, everyone. Teddy, we got a listener, a watcher, a viewer, Bam Golf. He's a +2 in golf. Do you know what that means?
He's a good golfer.
Okay. Perfect answer. Awesome. Okay, brother, we got your big game breakdown. It's on the Thursday Night Football game, and then we've got an excellent BS question. Go ahead, my friend.
Sure, let's do a little big game breakdown. Thursday night NFL style, the Lions and the Packers. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. We've seen money for Detroit. They're up to -2. There are even some prominent 2.5s out there for the Lions right now. We've seen money for the under. I wrote this. I like the under 46 last night. It's under 45 right now. So we don't like it as much. Nonetheless, it's still a game that in my mind has under written all over it. Let's start with the offensive lines. Two teams between them have 10 starting offensive linemen, and at least 5 of them are going to be out tonight between them. Packers aren't going to have their best 2. Left tackle David Bakhtiari. They're not going to have Elton Jenkins. Zach Tom's a question mark. The Lions aren't going to have Halavatai. They're not going to have Matt Nelson. Jonah Jackson's a question mark. Taylor Decker has been upgraded to probable, but he's not anywhere near 100%. That's a lot of guys for both teams, banged up or not playing on the offensive line. Lions defense has been pretty dominant twice in 3 games. Number 6 in the NFL in yards per play allowed. The Packers holding their foes under 5 yards per play as well, right behind Dallas and the Jets. So it's not like they're in a bad spot in terms of their statistical profiles. Jared Goff, a QB who we like, but we don't like him against good pass rushes. We like him better indoors than out. Jordan Love, growing QB. He's still having accuracy issues. He was pretty bad for 3 quarters last week before getting hot in the 4th. And of course, when you talk about young QBs making their first start on a Thursday, I'm not always expecting positive results. We've got pass rushers for both teams. Rashawn Gary back for Green Bay. He had 3 sacks last week. This is a guy that missed the whole second half of the season last year, and he's back, and he had an immediate impact. Aiden Hutchinson as well is the type of guy who's going to put a pressure on opposing defenses. Lions held the Falcons to 44 yards rushing last week. Atlanta entered the game 4th in the NFL, averaging 175 yards a game. I like this defense for Detroit. I think Green Bay's defense, who shut out New Orleans in the second half last week, is just fine. It's a divisional game. These teams know each other. Short week. Put it all together. Yeah, even at 45, we're looking under between the Lions and the Packers Thursday Night Football. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
And one hell of a big game breakdown it was, Theodore. Let's get to our BS question. Sent in from Just Perfect 6998, and I see what you're doing there with the name Perfect. I like it. I got the Miami Buffalo over with a capital V at 49.5 right when it came out. It is now 53.5. Should I middle it? And if so, how much of my original bet do I put on it? Listen, this is an amazing question, and there is no right answer here. Teddy and I could easily have different opinions. It's a betting strategy that you might want, that you do or somebody else does. So, Teddy, you go first, and then I'll give my take.
Absolutely. So where I come to this question is very simple. Do I like my over 49.5 bet? If I still like that bet, I'm going to hold that bet. If I'm worried about that bet and don't like it as much as I did, I'm going to look to come back the other way with the under and take advantage of a potential 4-point middle. It has everything to do with how much you like that first bet. If you want to like that first bet, let it stand, you hold it. If you're worried, yeah, well, I don't love it as much as I did, then you come back the other way. And it's just that simple. Each bet, from my perspective, you handle individually. You like the over 49.5, you hold it. You like the under 54, you can find 54s right now. You bet that. But if you're just betting the under just to have a hedge, you still like the over bet, to me that doesn't make sense. Why turn a winner into a push? Lawrence?
We didn't discuss this beforehand, and I was actually curious how you were going to answer it. So, listen, I'm with you here. I will say this. It does cross 51, and 51 is an important number in totals. It's not crucial. No number in totals is crucial. Teddy went through this a few weeks ago, but it does cross 51, and if you can get a 54, that's also a big number as well. So, if you were ever to middle something, this is a good one to middle. With that said, I would never middle this play. I would never middle any play. Ultimately, the way it works, if you're a weekly bettor, you don't have a bankroll, and you're just sort of making random bets, middle it. But for me, I'm a guy that has a bankroll. I put 3, 4, and 5% of my bankroll on every play, and I try to grind out a 55% average every single year. If I start middling these plays, it's going to mess with that concept. 52.34, that's break even. 55 gives you a lot of money. However, there's not a huge difference between 52.5 and 55. It's literally 2.5%. So if you're going to start giving away what could be winners on a semi-regular basis because you can get middle opportunities, that 2.5% is going to disappear. And all of a sudden, you're going to find yourself a losing bettor. You've got the best number. You killed the market. Ride with your bet. Now, if you do want to make a hedge, take 10% of your bet, throw it on a parlay. Take the under 54 and lay it with a play you like on Sunday. That would be the only way I would hedge this. Other than that, you got the best number. Enjoy it, just at perfect 6998. Andy, what, Teddy? What? You don't like anything I said?
I'm baffled by why would you take the play and parlay it with something else that has no relationship to it? But
I wouldn't.
You just said to do that.
I said if you wanted
to hedge, take 10% of your original bet. This is what I heard you say. If you want to hedge, take 10% of your original bet, put it on the under, and then parlay that with something.
Yeah.
Why the parlay?
Because people love parlays and it gives them an opportunity.
Yeah, but if we're giving
Teddy, I wouldn't do any of this.
It's a betting strategy question.
My
We're going to give them
answer is
advice.
don't hedge. But if you are going to hedge, that's how I would do it. We could argue till we're blue in the face. Andy Lang is laughing in our ear.
Why would you do it that way? I don't understand why you would do it that way.
Because then I will try to get my 2.6. So here's why. Here's why, Teddy. If you like a bet, let's say pick a bet. Somebody came on the show, they said Jacksonville -3. So now I can parlay it with, say, Jacksonville on the money line and avoid making that bet. So if I'm $100 bettor, I can try to avoid betting the 100 on Jacksonville because I would have the second leg already waiting for me if I lose my original bet and win my hedge. That's why. But ultimately, I wouldn't hedge and I wouldn't middle, period. Andy Lang, you're laughing. What do you got to add? Go ahead.
Nothing. Nothing. I think that was very well covered. I've never heard of the parlay hedge, but it's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Hey, oh, yeah. Good point, Teddy. I noticed that as well. Private conversation. Okay, Andy, well, listen, either way, I'm telling you now, I would not hedge or middle that play. Period. So, Andy, I can breathe now. You're on. Just to let you know, Andy, Marco D'Angelo, co-founder of WagerTalk, slacked me this morning and said he needs to be on the Friday shows now, not the Monday shows. You've always had that Friday time slot. We put you on today's time slot for a reason we'll get to a little later. But I am now moving you on to Thursday. So you will be on every Thursday. You have been bumped off the Friday show by Marco. If you have a problem with that, please feel free to take it up with Marco. Okay. Prop bets. Let's start with the one you've got tonight. Go ahead, my brother.
Let's take Devontae and Wicks over 16.5 receiving. This is a very under-the-radar prop. And I really like the look of this rookie wide receiver. He's probably not in the conversation of rookie wide receivers that everyone's looking at, but look at his progression here. 0 catches in week 1. He had 2 catches for 40 yards in week 2, and then 4 catches for 45 yards in week 3. I really like how he's progressing. I like the chemistry he's building with Jordan Love. We're getting a very, very low number here. The last 2 weeks, each week he has 1 catch that has gone over this 16.5. So this is a big play guy that can get over with just 1 catch. I think we're getting a low number because Christian Watson and Aaron Jones return, but looks like they may be limited. So I don't know how many touches they're going to get and take away from other players. The Lions, they're giving up only 3.2 yards a carry. That's 5th best in the NFL. Lions, only 14th best in pass defense. So I expect Green Bay to be attacking through the air as much as they can tonight. So I think this is a pretty under the radar, very, very low number. I expect to see Jordan Love throw the ball quite a bit. And I only need 1 or 2 catches to get over. 1 catch may do it if he breaks a long one. So 16.5 over for Wicks is my my best prop for tonight.
So you mentioned that you weren't too worried about Christian Watson coming back tonight. I mean, Christian Watson's the number 1 receiver. They got Reed. They got Dobbs. Does Wicks see the field if Watson's back in the game? That's my biggest concern with this is does Wicks get the playing time?
Well, wait, if he doesn't see the field, the bet is off.
I think he does see the field. I love his progression. I love that a rookie wide receiver can go from 0 catches to 2 catches to 4 catches. And as a coaching staff, I don't know why you would want to kind of ruin that momentum that he has going. And yeah, the report came from NFL Network that both Jones and Watson could see limited snaps tonight. So, they're going to have a long break after this because it's a Thursday night game. Why put Jones and Watson 100%, of all these snaps in there? And sure, some of the production is going to go away, but this isn't a guy that's getting, 10 targets a week. He's getting low targets. And if Watson and Jones are on the field, maybe it takes a little bit of attention away from him. Maybe he gets a blown coverage or, just a one-on-one matchup that suits him well. I just like getting these low numbers, especially when you can get it on one play. So I really love these low totals. So I'll stick with Wicks in the over here.
Yep. Andy Lang joining us, everyone. And Andy, it was pointed out you are the ketchup to my mustard. Anyway. So Johnny, our COO, incredible, just incredible at running the operations of this company.
Wow.
He told me, why wow? What are we wowing about?
No, go ahead. Just seemed a little kiss up there.
I don't need a kiss up, Johnny. What the hell, man?
Okay.
Anyway, if I could kiss up Johnny, oh my God. Anyway, Andy, the reason you're on Thursday, it was his idea. At the time, me and you were number 1 and 2 at WagerTalk for the last 365 days. I'm currently number 2. I will be number 1 tomorrow. I was number 1 yesterday. It's jumping around. You're currently number 4, but by a hair, you will be number 1 again. For the last month, you and I have been jumping around in that top 3 spot. And listen, I'm honored by it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I consider it a huge achievement. I mean, we've got guys on this website, Teddy Covers, Steve Merrill, Brian Power, the legend Dave Kochen, Brian Leonard, Carmine Bianco, Las Vegas Chris, Gianni. You and I have kicked all their asses the last 365 days in profit. And I consider that, why is Teddy on the screen? And I consider that an incredible achievement. I am proud of that. I hope you are. And we got a promo for both of us. Now, it's not a combined promo, but it is a promo nevertheless, and it is how you guys should bet us. Oh, there, we got rid of Teddy. Okay, now we can really talk. How does it feel being so good, Andy? Kicking Teddy's butt.
Well, it's just it's a much better
incredible,
feeling.
dude. That's why I use him as this example. Like, come on, over the last 20 years, neither of us have kicked Teddy's butt. We just had a moment, a 1-year moment. Anyway, our promo is Andy 1000 and or Prez 1000. That gives you the entire year of all Andy or my picks, every bet, every 5%, every sport for $999. If you are going to bet for a year, this is the way to do it. It brings the price down to like $3 a day. It allows you to not worry about the cost of the package against your bets. It is the most effective way of winning. Andy, I can speak on my behalf. I'm a roller coaster, baby. I'm going to go on slumps and I'm going to go on runs. One thing about me, you will have a blast and be an emotional wreck all at the same time. I will provide you with a year of drama, but I will win at the end of the year. Prez 1000. What about you, bro?
Well, on our show, The Road to Millions, which we do every day on the WagerTalk YouTube channel, we compare our 2023 to the stock market. The stock market is up 1.9%. We are up 104%. I don't know about you. I would rather be up 104%.
Comparison.
I would rather be up 104%. That's just me. I call me crazy. But yes, taking advantage of the longer access packages is absolutely the way to go. You're going to get the best of the number. You're going to get all plays. You're going to get all sports. You don't have to worry about picking and choosing. All plays just get sent right to your email, and it just takes a weight off. And you price it out. It includes all 5% plays. It definitely is the best way to go about it. Yeah. So it's at half price. Now it's definitely the best way to go about it. So yeah, use the promo code Andy1000. Get you $999 for 1 year of all plays. Like I said, we're up 104 just in 2023. And it has been fun watching go back and forth last 365 days, just up and down. Oh, I'm 1, I'm 4, I'm 2. Like, it's fun.
Dude, I wrote my sales pitch last night, and it said, number 1 handicap in the last 365 days. And I wake up this morning, I'm number 2. I'm not changing my sales pitch, though. Anyway, awesome stuff, Andy. Teddy, you've got something you want to talk about. Then we've got a couple more prop bets from Andy.
Yeah, so last year at this time, I was also in the near the top of the 365 days. And I remember this, like what happened last year at this time. I don't remember, but one day you're 1, one day you're 2, one day you're 3. That's just the way it works. Nonetheless, I agree 100% with what Andy was saying about the long-term packages. This just happened in the betting markets, and it's fascinating to me. A starting quarterback was announced as in the NFL on Sunday, or probable, upgraded to probable, and the markets moved against that team. Any guesses?
Derek Carr?
Garoppolo?
Bryce Young. Bryce Young.
That makes sense.
And the money poured in on Minnesota with that announcement. 3s, 3.5 gone, 4s out there right now. So it's a situation, a rare situation where the starting quarterback gets upgraded to probable and the line moves the other way. That's, I thought, worth mentioning for sure. Andy Lang, you've got a couple more props that you want to talk about before we let you go. We have extended time with you today. Which one would you like to break down next?
Let's talk about Brandon Cooks in a line that I don't understand. I hope I'm not getting hoodwinked by the books here, but let's take Brandon Cooks under 43.5 receiving. Brandon Cooks has 4 catches for 39 yards this season. He's only played in 2 games, and he has yet to get over the total that they have for this number. His longest catch is 16 yards, and he's hurt. He has an MCL sprain. They just wrote an article about how he's in a rehab group trying to get his knee right, and he's going up against a brutal matchup. Patriots, 5th best passing defense. This Christian Gonzalez is incredible, and it's really given the Patriots a lot of options on how to defend the pass. I'm not sure if Gonzalez is going to match up against CeeDee Lamb. Lamb lines up over 60% in the slot. So I wonder if Brandon Cooks may get the Gonzalez treatment here, and Gonzalez is really, really good. He's really impressive, especially if Brandon Cooks is not 100%. That longest catch for only 16 yards, that's a real red flag for me because Brandon Cooks likes the speed and likes to open up the field. So I'm taking under 43.5. I think this is a really, really tough passing matchup for Dallas, and I don't understand why we've got a banged-up wide receiver against a really, really good pass defense and such a high total. So give me Brandon Cooks under 43.5. And for my last one, I'll take it over on a receiver. Give me Amari Cooper. Love what Amari Cooper's done. Numbers sitting at 59.5. So week 1, he only had 37 yards, but that was the game where they really beat up Cincy. It was a rainy game. Since then, 10 targets, 7 catches, and 90 yards against Pittsburgh. 8 targets, 7 catches, 116. The Ravens' defense and secondary is banged up. They've given up 9th most passing yards to wide receivers. They're better against the run. Pittman had a huge game against them. T. Higgins had a huge game against them. Nico Collins had a big game against them. So I like what Amari Cooper is doing. He's obviously the best wide receiver in Cleveland. Cleveland has been throwing Cleveland threw the ball a lot more last week without Nick Chubb. I think that's going to be their best matchup. So I like Amari Cooper over 59.5 receiving.
Andy Lang, great stuff, man. No follow-up questions from you. Listen, why should anyone ask you a question about betting? You're a betting god. Teddy and I bow. Okay, brother. So remember, you're now on every Thursday in the final spot. And I like it, actually. I think it's better than the Friday spot because you can come on with a prop bet for Thursday Night Football as well. What do you have to promote real quick? And it's
just
not
use the
your Andy 1000, just something else.
Well, 5% NFL play is up. We bring that up 24-9 on NFL 5% plays the last 2 seasons. 3-0 already this year. We've hit one every week. You can't win a 5% play every week if you don't win the first 3. So we've done that. We're going for it again.
Genius.
Let's make it 4-0. Yeah, we got to make it 4-0 this week. Love the play. We had it narrowed down to 3. We selected our best one. So if you're looking for just one individual play, go ahead and grab that up at WagerTalk.com.
There we go, Andy Lang, everybody. What a great show. Guys, all 3 parts of the NFL presidential address have been taped. The first 2 are up. We got great feedback on the first one. The second one only went up last night, so I haven't even looked at the feedback yet. But make sure to check that out over at WagerTalk TV. Teddy, I'm excited about tonight's game, and I'm golfing later on. I feel good. I am not in pain anymore, and everyone is bothering me about the way I say you're. Take us home, bro.
That's going to wrap it for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. Steve Merrill and myself will be here tomorrow for another edition. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck with all of your wagers.